From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America. I am Keith Allen, and proudly welcoming you to this Monday's edition of For the People on December the 11th, 2017. It is my final weekday program here at For the People. If you join me for my first hour, you're probably going to hear some similar things, but we'll try to switch it up a little bit. But this is pretty much a goodbye show. We'd like to include in some phone calls today across the country from people that have listened to the broadcast, have loved the show, and just would like to say a few nice things. 813-423-8255. Would love to hear from some of you. If you'd like to share and you've been listening, and don't be reluctant. Call in. It will definitely be a nice thing, and I'd like to know that you're listening to this broadcast. And like I say, this will be a show that will be listened to a lot of people for a long time because they'll want to know, where did Keith go? And a lot of people have said this is an era that basically is coming to an end because I pretty much was the pallbearer, if you will, in some respects to the show. I don't want to say pallbearer. It's a little bit morbid. We tried to, carry the flame, the torch. Yes, that would be more specific and more relevant. That is really what we try to do here, is to carry the legacy of Chuck Harder. And, that's kind of like Mickey Mouse leaving the park. And it was always going to be an uphill battle to try to win an audience back that really just loved Chuck. And it's really difficult to be able to do that for a lot of broadcasts. And that is not what happened here. We gained radio stations after Chuck wasn't able to come on the station because of health issues. So the show has been successful in numbers. The amount of listenership on podcast has been unbelievable. We have tens of thousands of downloads from Spreaker. And so it's never been a shortage of people listening or on radio stations. Never been a shortage of people hearing the show. So it's not been that. It's just been our business model. And we thought we could change that by some sponsors with MyPillow and some other things with selling pillows. But we just don't have people buying things as they once did. And I think things have changed a lot in radio that way. Unless you're supporting your local Christian radio station, unless you're selling your own sponsors like vitamins, water softeners and things like that you're touting, and you probably get 15, 20 minutes practically of spots in the show to be able to do it. That's really the only way to do it. And that wasn't my problem, to be honest with you. When I worked at radio stations, I endorsed things, I did commercials, and they paid me a salary. So whether I sold anything or not, I still got a salary to do a radio show. And it's been different for 3 years. We haven't been able to pay our bills around here at For the People, and I've been paying it out of my own salary through doing voiceover and imaging and all that kind of stuff that I do around the broadcast. So simple economics has been the reason why we were not able to continue in this fashion. And I apologize to those that have really depended on the broadcast to bring you the news each and every day, along with thoughtful commentary and analysis of the most important stories of the day. And we've never claimed to be the brightest bulb out there, by no means, but we certainly put a lot of heart into the broadcast and a lot of thought, a lot of love. Yeah, that's what we have done, endeavored to show you that we care for you in this country. We love God, love our country, love our families, and bringing people together. And that's been a really important mission of mine here at For the People. It's just, again, It would have been cool if we had a sugar daddy, sugar mama that write us a big check, and we've had some of those, but to really keep us on the air. And, and sometimes you just kind of have to know at a certain time where it's not working, and it basically a curtain call. And I just want to bow out at this point, and when a door opens and God opens a door, then I'll know that it's right to go through, whether it's a radio network that wants me on or a radio station in another market. We'll consider doing that and would love to be a part of that. But right now, it's just, it hasn't been as fruitful, I guess, as I'd like to say. And I have a family to feed. I have kids, and they're depending on me, and I just, in the right conscience, I'm getting older, they're getting older, and they got more needs. And I have a 14-year-old that's, looking at some career opportunities as far down the road, and, art college and all this stuff. So it takes a lot of time to put a show together. So if you have 2 hours, minimal 2 hours of research per hour, typically, and then the setup of the broadcast, the show, all the behind-the-scenes thing and post-production after the show, on average, you're looking at 5 to 6 hours a day just on the show, and some days more, honestly. So it's been very consuming for 3 years, and not making even $160 a month to cover the internet here. So if that gives you any perspective of why, and so I just want to make it very clear that we have not been making money. I mean, my accountant knows this. We've lost money, but it's been more of a labor of love. And we were hoping, in many respects, honestly, that some doors would open. And a lot of the doors were receptive of what we were doing and liked what we were doing. We were hearing from a lot of great program directors and a lot of syndication folks in New York that really liked my style, liked the show, and were very positive about it. The only negative about it was that I wasn't working for them. So a lot of talk show hosts, what they'll do is they'll be sit-ins or fill-ins for the radio station, but they already work for the station or the network. They already work for the group. Now, to me, talent's talent. So if you hear a talent and you want to get behind somebody, there was a will, you make a way. So again, it's God's timing. So I'm just going to put it in God's hands, and he's big enough, capable enough. He sustained me. He's blessed me, and he is able to do exceedingly above and beyond. And so I committed to him today, to what he wants me to do moving forward when it comes to broadcasting. And if I should never return to the air again, then that's his will, and I'll have to accept it. But if he wants me back on, then it'll happen. And so anyways, your prayers, definitely, I'd love to be back on. Absolutely. I think it would be a great thing. If you'd like to call in here on the second hour to say goodbye, 813-423-8255, area code 813-423-8255. Now, I'm going to be back on weekends. Okay, we're going to have a 2-hour show, and it's going to talk about the issues of the day and a week summarize edition. So it's going to be summarizing the week's events, and you can listen to it anytime at forthepeopleshow.com, starting this weekend via podcast. Yeah, it's podcast only right now. Liberty Network is going to be carrying it too. So some stations across the country will be hearing that on Saturdays and Sundays. So we're making provision right now on the clock. We'll let you know when that is a done deal with the network, but they've been gracious enough to already say that they wanted to know if I was going to follow their clock, and we're going to do that. So we'll make that available to stations that want to carry For the People on the weekends. And we'll have that uploaded on Friday sometime. And we'll just make that happen. But it'll keep us on the air and keep me so I don't rust out too badly in between, and that'll be a beautiful thing. So you can still get your For the People fix. It'll just be in a very 2-hour consolidated broadcast that you've been getting weekdays, but you'll be able to get one time, and you can listen to it anytime at forthepeopleshow.com, along with close to 500 shows that we've done on a player right on our website. at forthepeopleshow.com. Yeah, it's right there. forthepeopleshow.com. F-O-R, the, spelled out, peopleshow.com. All right, our phone numbers. And this is important. If you like the show, if you've enjoyed the broadcast, if you were a longtime Chuck listener, like to say anything about what this program is meant to you personally, we'd like to hear about it. America would like to hear about it. 813-423-8255. Area code 813-423-TALK. That's the phone number. I'm looking at the phone right now. You call, we put you on. 813-423-8255. 813-423-TALK. And it's very unusual because, and the reason a bunch of people aren't calling in right now is because they're not used to hearing that phone number. Because we didn't take phone calls. We didn't need to do phone calls. But there were people, hey, don't you ever take phone calls? And that's kind of fun to hear some of the banter back and forth. I agree. But I never wanted to be one of those hosts that had to have callers. And we want them now. We can't get them. Mainly because we don't have the audience. We're not on the network today. And some of the stations are carrying this broadcast today. Some of the affiliates are finding out that this is the last broadcast, in fact, during the weekdays. And I apologize for our affiliates. They've been notified. But if you haven't heard, and we understand we're on some stations we didn't even know we were on. Didn't even have those listed. We were getting, how many? 10 emails. Or is it? Oh, it's 8. Okay, eight stations in addition to what we have on. So we were on a lot more radio stations than we thought, and heard the news on Facebook over the weekend. So for most people that tuned in during this time, they're not tuned in. We gave a message that we're going to be on live and gave our phone number, but they may not see it. They may not be looking for it. So anyway, if you'd like to call in, 813-423-8255, but we just have had made the decision to go off. And I got to say a big thank you to my mother. She has been truly one of my biggest fans. And she was one that recognized my broadcast voice when I was, 8, 10 years old in Norwich, Connecticut. And she told my dad, listen to the pipes on that guy. And she heard something, and it was kind of funny because I wasn't the greatest reader in school. And just to let you know that my parents, unfortunately, had a divorce. They got a divorce, and that was a bad scene. And I ended up having to go to the resource room, as they called it back then, because I had trouble reading, believe it or not. And I went to a lady, and I remember her well, great teacher. Her name was Mrs. Lang. And she taught me how to read and enjoy it, actually love it. And it was a real blessing. And thanks to great teachers out there. But after I learned how to read, my teachers in other classes had me read everything to the class. And I knew that there was a future somewhere. And I ended up doing narration and became the voice of ABC News for 10 years with World News Tonight, which was great after Ernie Anderson passed away, and still do stuff for ABC Family, which is really cool. But ABC News, where more Americans get their news from, something like that. Should I do the whole thing? All right. This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Or reporting from New York, here again is Peter Jennings. My voice was a little different back then. But anyway, Peter had to die. So that was Cap Cities. Yeah. But it was great to be a part of the family and miss that whole workings over there. That was really big doings. But anyway, she had recognized my voice, and I've been on radio stations early in my life in Memphis, Tennessee. I've been in Washington, D.C. I've been in New York, out in Los Angeles, in Tampa, Florida. So I've been in a lot of radio markets, and I've had a lot of great opportunities that, I've been on the air 5 years here, eight years there. Syndicated shows, sit in for syndicated shows. Art Bell, I sat in for him with Coast to Coast, which was cool many years ago. Guy out of Seattle,